Hi, everybody. Jay Baba. I hope everybody had a good week. Happy Diwali. So Peter and I are back again. We heard you really hated us. We had terrible reviews, so we're sorry.
Welcome.
Did you guys all get my email this week? If you did, just nod so I know that you did. Yeah, okay, good. Perfect. So Peter and I are so excited because we have a very, very special group of people who are going to be our guests. Aaron Hemeon was originally going to be our guest, but he had a cold, and so he lost his voice, so he could not be a part. But Baba, in his way, created something even better. And so, in a scramble, Peter and I contacted all these youth Sahavas who have come on and are going to, number one, tell their experience of Baba in the world as a young person, and then also their experience of Sahavas. Some might share a little, some might share a lot. It's totally up to them. But then we're going to have a really cool time when you guys can ask the young people all your burning questions. And then at the end, after that, depending on how much time, of course, we're going to let the youngins ask questions that they might have about your relationship with Baba as the older generation. I don't know how you guys have your Zoom set up, but I do, because we have a couple of guests, I encourage you guys to put your screens on gallery mode just so you can see all their faces, because we have a couple right now. I'm going to introduce everybody, but I'm looking.
Didn't we want to show a video as well? A
Yes.
special
Yeah, yeah.
video.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Peter has a video to show us to start us off with.
Yes. Yes. So this video was made by the Meher Center and some of the former staff and campers and even current youth Sahavas staff and campers had a piece and spoke in this video, and it's really well made. They did this during COVID, so a couple years ago, so you may have seen it already. But it's such a well made video, and here we go.
The following letter was sent by Baba's sister Mani.
Sent for the very first youth Sahavas, dated June 1991. We greet you, Meher minors, majoring in beloved Meher Baba's love, representatives of young humanity, gathered together as one heart in his beautiful home. It is you, dear Meher minors, who will carry his sweet name to thirsting hearts in this desert of Maya, and you who will witness the incredible blossoming which is to come. We love you, Meher minors, and from across the oceans we join you in a thunderous Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Baba's discourse, which is endless in humanity about young people, and Buzz and I have used that from the get-go. And it's Baba's words about young people and the importance of that energy that young people bring to the world and paying attention to it.
From the beginning, it was a way for young people to come together. By being together like this, something happened that we heard over and over and over again over these years, which is people felt like they discovered their own Baba, their own voice, and find Baba themselves without interference, without being told how it should be. And that has remained all this time.
I could not believe the sign. Sahavas has changed my life in almost every way. The connections I have made, the love I have shared, the relationships that I have formed because of it have made me the person I am today. To be able to share a part of myself so freely and so deeply with people who really get it is one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given, and I can't wait to go back again.
Hi. What makes Sahavas so special for me is how so many different people from so many different places and lives all come together and share all of their love and support and friendship. And it's amazing how in just under a week some of the greatest friendships are formed. And I like to keep notes from some of my very favorite people because I like to be reminded.
The center is closed. In fact, the center is very peaceful, but it misses all of you to kind of give it that outer animation. And one of our favorite times in the center is anticipating the Sahavas every year, when all of you folks would bring all the spontaneous love and enthusiasm and fun-lovingness. It's one of the most beautiful experiences that I've had here at the center. So thank you all, and we send much love from the center. Jai Baba.
What matchless loveliness is there, what infinite content raise the heart when he appears. No other night humbly make you one and all. Sing the master's praise. Victory unto thee. Victory unto thee. Victory unto
The minute I see that we are through the gate, a rush of emotions are overflowing my body, like a river trying to get through the dam that has been set up and is finally set free. Every turn I make, there is the fresh small patch of trees embracing me in a hug. The atmosphere and feeling that I have when I'm there during the youth Sahavas is like an overflowing sink or tub filled with water, but instead spilling out with love. All of us become one. There is so much love that I'm instantly running on a spiritual high that I cannot explain the feeling to my parents when they ask me why I love the youth Sahavas so much, or even to my non-Baba friends. I finally feel a release of my body, as though the string has been cut off from whatever was holding me back. The positive energy radiating from the top of the treetops to even the ground I walk on is just seeping to fill my body. The minute I enter through the gates during the youth Sahavas, my body wants to take in as much love as it possibly can, like a wet sponge, and radiate the love through my smile and energy to every person I encounter.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm so excited to share with you my favorite Sahavas memory. And I attended Sahavas for the first time with my brother Kevin, and during that first Sahavas experience, I had this really sweet moment in the barn on the last day with my brother Kevin, where we were listening to Buzz and the Music Wallas play Tonight, and I just remember it was like something opened up in me, and I just felt this overwhelming sense of love. And Kevin and I sat together and we hugged each other, and we both had tears streaming down our faces, and it was just so sweet and tender, and it's something that will carry me through even the darkest days now. And I'm really, really grateful for Sahavas for providing me that memory. And of course, I have so many other silly memories and funny things that have happened and other tender moments, but that first Sahavas, that first moment will always be my favorite.
Hi, I'm Liza. It was the most heart-opening experience that I have ever had. Writing loving notes, going to barn and Dooney and singing songs and just crying because I was so overwhelmed by this amount of love that was inside me from Baba and that I was sharing with everybody else. was more than I could have ever asked for, and I experienced that at Sahavas. So Sahavas changed my life, opened my heart, gave me the strongest connections with people I've ever had, and I'm forever grateful. Jai Baba.
Bill and I, we'd like to be part of your youth Sahavas. We have such good memories, and we just wanted to say thank you. Heaps and heaps and heaps.
Jai Bob.
Jai Bob.
On the hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all till there was you. There were birds in the sky, but I never saw them winging. No, I never saw them at all till there was you. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all till there was you.
This world is filled with fire and fury.
Friends, my name is Raleigh Miller. So when I was about a freshman, I think, in high school, an invitation from the Youth Sahavas just showed up in my mailbox, and we still to this day don't know how that happened. And I said, no, I'm not gonna go. It's not for me. And my mom said those words that will change my life forever and will stay with me for the rest of my life, which was, well, you might enjoy it. And so that space that was created in my first year allowed me to actually discover my connection with Mayor Baba. So I just want to say thanks to everybody, and I also want to offer a special thanks to Buzz and Wendy, and I'm not going to name all the names, you know who you are, anybody who's ever put in the blood and the sweat and the tears, no doubt, to make Youth Sahavas possible. It's just an incredible thing that you do in service for the beloved, and we thank you very much. So, big J Baba, love all of you. Yes, all of you.
My first year at the Youth Sahavas was in 2005. So I arrived, tentative, scared, not sure if or how I was going to fit in. And surprisingly, maybe not to all of you seeing this, but I was met with such love. It was in this environment that I really solidified my relationship with Baba. And it's also where I planted the seed of self-love. I do think, and I am confident, that Youth Sahavas is an environment and an invitation from the beloved Baba to dance in the fire of his love to stoke the flames.
And let my Father take over. I must do my best to lay it down. And let my Father take over. If the hopes and schemes of my imagination had
Hi, my name is Regina, and something that's special about Youth Sahavas is just the immense amount of love here. And it's cool because as a teenager, you come from this high school setting where, it's cliquey and there's a sense of you belong and you don't belong and etc. And at Sahavas, everyone belongs everywhere and you're just accepted for who you are because of that quality of love that's there. And as you grow older with those people and with this place and with Baba, the love does not fade. If anything, it grows stronger.
Hi, my name's Zach Matte. This is Morley. She's about 10 months old. The Youth House has been one of the most impactful sets of experiences of my life. And so showing up at the center and being completely surrounded by all these wonderful people who were here for similar purpose and to create that wonderful community was just so moving, and it really opened me up to the idea of just being kind of filled with this energy and love for Baba and for spirituality, and then for sharing that with others. It's just one of the things about that stood out to me. So I hope that one day she can join the Sahavas and participate as well. What do you think? Can you wave hi to the camera? Yeah! But she still has a couple years to go. Alright, Jai Baba.
Hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christina and I've been a part of the Youth Sahavas for the past 9 years, whether as an attendee or on staff, and for all of those years you would find me with the music wallas. So I wanted to share a song. And the song I decided to share is This Little Light of Mine. And I wanted to share this for two reasons, which are always present at the Youth Sahavas, and that is love and the exploration and truth of oneself. So for me, this song represents these two beautiful things, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it puts a smile on your face. And I love all of you and miss all of you and can't wait for the next time in which we'll be able to hug each other. Jai Baba.
love Sahavas, and that's the only requirement. Everybody practices or experiences Baba in a different way, which is part of the reason I love this community. It's just so amazing to see the generation just like after mine, and like how different they are, and like how they experience the world and how they express themselves, and it just makes me so happy. So yeah, I love seeing everybody. I love seeing everybody's smiling face. I love the food. I love all of my fellow workers and all of the participants, and I hope everybody is happy and with Baba and just like having a good time.
Hi, my name is Kipper Shower. Upon a visit to Mehrabad, people that had attended the youth Sahavas that had made the pilgrimage to Mehrabad and Merazad directly after the event, and they were charged up in a manner that is hard to convey or explain. They were just filled with Baba's love, and so much love for each other. Mandali would have them speak about the youth Sahavas each day in Mandali Hall. Erich Jesawala asking them to tell them stories about what had happened, and it was contagiously exciting. And I remember getting a chance to go my first year, and feeling included for the first time, as though I had found my tribe, the first place that I felt where I could take off my mask and be myself. The event itself stands as a testament to Baba's love and to his lovers. Jai Baba.
Oh, yay. Jay Baba. That was so sweet. I was in tears the first part of it. I'm glad I got myself together, but
I was too. And so the whole the video is a longer video. If anyone does want to see the whole thing, it is on the Meher Center website under digital offerings, and then just type Youth Sahavas. There's a search bar, and you'll find it.
yay. Thank you, Peter.
My pleasure.
Well, in interest of getting our guests on to speak, I want to introduce everybody. And so if you guys, all you Sahavas, if you guys unmute your mic, and then I'll just call you out and you can say hi. This way it's not a bunch of unmuting and muting and stuff. Okay, so I don't know what order everybody is in on your screens, but I'm looking at Dorian first. Dorian, you want to introduce yourself, kind of say where you're from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
And how many Sahavas have you attended?
I've been to one. So this past summer was my first one.
Okay, cool. And then I've got Izzy next. Izzy, you want to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about whether it's your first Sahavas or not?
Yes. Hi, I'm Izzy. I'm from Little River, South Carolina, and I've been to one youth Sahavas. Last summer was my first one.
And then Aaron.
I'm from Chicago, but currently I'm not living in Chicago. I'm living in Bloomington, Normal, Illinois. Last year was my last, so I've been to 4. Should have been to 5, but COVID. But yeah.
Thanks, Aaron. Okay, Yashika.
Hi, my name is Yashika. I am 15 years old, and last year was my first youth Sahavas.
Yay! And Ava.
Hi, I'm Ava. I'm 16. I'm from North Carolina, or Canton, North Carolina, and this summer was my first year.
Oh, yay. So I'm not going to have us read the email because I feel like it was just saying that we're having these lovely people on, and then you guys can ask as many questions as you want. And then you Sahavas, as far as answering, I'm just going to have you guys just hit the little raise icon hand if they ask questions that you want to answer, okay? Just so it's easy. So the first question that Peter and I want to ask all of you guys is to tell us about your experience of the youth Sahavas, and then how that sort of bleeds over into your relationship with Baba in the world. Does anybody feel like going first? All right. I'm going to call on Aaron.
Yeah. Okay. I knew that was going to happen. All right. Youth Sahavas was, I have been going to the center since I was born. Before then, I believe. And it was always, there was great amount of love. There was great amount of, people who you just felt connected to when you came. But Youth Sahavas it was different in the level of love. It's just because there was so many people that were just it's a magnifying glass. It's so many just brilliant young people coming together, having fun, great discussions, making friendships that last past Youth Sahavas and into the real world, and you go and visit them and see them in the real world, and it's there's just a level of connection that it's hard to explain. And it has really helped me find my place in the Bible community, because for a long time I felt this is my parents' thing, it's fun. I like the people. I don't know if I really connect. I had my first Baba experience in Baba House at Youth Sahavas, and it was the little stone from the piece of the tomb in the room to the left of Baba's, and it made me just become close to Baba, really, just in general. And the people that I've met there have talked me through and helped me through situations in my life, hardships, joys, everything else. It's a level of connection that goes beyond just like a friendship.
Would you be willing to share more about your experience with the piece of the Samadhi in Baba's house?
Yeah. I can only describe it as I touched the stone and I touched my heart and I was knocked to the ground physically on one knee. So that was, it brought me to my knees, quite literally.
Yeah, our Baba has a way of doing that, hey?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Aaron. And last week, if you guys were here, Aaron was the one I was talking about, who I was a counselor last year. And Aaron was the one that when he was in discussion groups, the younger kids would look to him like he was a counselor, because he had these incredible, beautiful insights about Baba, and he sort of like paved this way for the young.
Yeah. Well, you've known me for a very long time. I've been going. And I listen to what people said for a long time. So.
Oh, thank you. Okay, Dorian, would you be willing to share? And if you don't want to, you can pass.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I would say I've been going to the center for like a long time, ever since I was little, like Aaron. And I was kind of younger, and of course I always enjoyed it, but I think when I went to Youth Sahavas, it's kind of like I had a newfound appreciation for it, because I got to meet so many lovely people and have so many experiences. And it's like, before then, I haven't really had the opportunity to meet such amazing, like deep, like great people. And everyone's so diverse and comes from different backgrounds, like all parts of the United States and even the world. And it's just like hearing from all those different perspectives and like just hearing everyone's story. It's just really inspiring and like really changed my outlook. And I'm really thankful for that.
Wow. And you brought so much love to Youth Sahavas. I remember the first time I met you, you walked into a discussion group and you were just like, I don't know nowhere to go. Can I sit here? And then
Yeah, I remember
talking
that.
about Baba and bringing all these like beautiful insights. I think that was the discussion group that Aaron and I were in together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
those were great. I really enjoyed those discussion groups.
yeah. No, they're a really, really beautiful part of Sahavas. So can I ask you, has your experience of Sahavas sort of carried over into your relationship with Baba, and have you been able to bring Baba out into the world?
Yeah, kind of. And I do kind of think it just taught me like you can just love Baba through people and just being kind to people and just sharing that. It's just kind of what it's all about. And it's just really amazing. And also I do think it's like going to youth Sahavas kind of reminds me like if the world's like not treating me the best and like I'm having a hard time, like I can just think back to my experiences and like also like look forward to the next Sahavas because like I know that my people exist and it's just such a wonderful thing to be a part of and like know like you belong because in Sahavas everyone belongs and it's just a beautiful thing.
Thanks, Dorian. And I'm so glad you came on. He was super nervous. He was like, I don't know, but I'm so glad that you came on. So Ava and Izzy, I'm going to save you two for last just because you guys have a little bit of a different experience than Yashika, who grew up in a Baba family. Yashika, would you be willing to share your experience of Baba and the Sahavas?
Of course. So I've been going to the center since before I was born. And my mom came from a Baba family too. So it's just been like generations. And I always thought of it as like, it was like, obviously it was like an obligation. Like I wasn't mad about it or anything, but it's like, my family did it, I'm gonna do it. I'm not mad about it. I still love Baba. But when I went to the youth Sahavas, it was a whole new demographic of people. And I was very nervous when I first came because I didn't know anybody that was going there. But you would be surprised how easy it is to meet new people and make friends and connections like to people all over the United States and even people in other countries. Like that's insane. And it carried on to my relationship with Baba. Like Dorian said, you do it through people. When I came back from the youth Sahavas, I didn't really know what to do because it's just you're in such a type of environment, and then you come back home, and it's kind of it makes you sad. Obviously, I think everybody feels that way after they come back from the youth Sahavas. They're a little down. They're looking at all their notes that people wrote to them, and it makes you a little sad. But what I did, I tried to convey it to my parents and stuff. I tried to just talk to them about it. It just wasn't the same. But one of my friends, she used to be, or I guess she still is Christian, and her name is Sophia. And I was just talking to her about Baba. She's like, why have you never told me about this before? And I kept talking about it to her, and she now is a Baba lover. And I'm so grateful to have somebody, even like another person, like Dorian, he lives very close to me. And now I have another person named Sophia, and I'm sure they're gonna meet sometime soon because, they would just definitely get along. I already know it. But yeah, it was just amazing, like helping somebody find their way to Baba.
It's amazing that you're doing that. How old are you, Shika? Are you 16 or 17?
15.
15. Oh, wow. So Yashika was my camper, and I remember she walked up and she had these spunky, it was a pink backpack, right? And pink shorts. Yeah. And she walked up like she owned the cabin, and she was so spunky, and I never would have known that she was nervous. And then I began talking to her, and I realized not only is she this beautiful girl, she is one of the smartest people I've ever met. When my co-counselor Jaya and I were talking to her, and we were thinking to ourselves, we can't talk to this girl. She's going to figure out that she's smarter than us really soon. But anyway, Izzy, would you be willing to share your experience of Sahavas and kind of how that shaped your connection to Baba?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, watching the video, I started crying in the beginning. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to come back. But I was kind of forced to go to youth Sahavas, but I am glad I was. Anyways, but yeah, I my mom found out about it. I kind of shared a little bit about it a couple weeks ago or like last week or something. But yeah, I got there and I was like shaking. I was so nervous. And I saw Ava and Yashika. I don't think I saw Dorian. I think he was there earlier. But I was like, okay, cool. They seem nice, I think, maybe. And then I don't know, everyone was so welcoming. And then I felt after I rode in the back of a truck to like get all my luggage to my cabin, I got in the cabin. I was like, this is really cool. And then I'd say halfway like through the day, I felt like complete ease, like not really nervous for anything. My anxiety went away. And I think the first day I also like spoke for like 2 hours straight with Yashika, just sitting down by a tree or something. And we were just talking about like the deepest things that I'm like, I need this. Like no one here, like with my friends, they do not like speak like talking about like deep stuff. It's all about like drama. And I'm like, okay. But yeah. And then just like every single person I spoke to was all like there's so much depth to everyone and so much love. Like I was constantly crying at like happiness, like of so much love I felt. And I was definitely a little, I would say slightly weirded out about like the whole Mayor Baba stuff in the beginning. Like the first day I was like, I don't know. And then the second day I was like, nope, this is definitely this is so like, I needed this. And yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other things. But like in the real world, when I got back, I cried for like 2 weeks straight of how much I missed it. But I knew that I could go back to that and I have my people. And yeah, I haven't been to the center in a while because I've been really busy, but I did volunteer for a little bit. So that was really nice to have those connections with people when I go. And then I've talked to my parents about Baba and stuff, and they've been pretty like a little bit interested. I'm definitely more interested.
So you're like bringing your parents to Baba.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very grateful for my mom forcing me to go and for all this to happen.
And I just wanted to add, Izzy, when you were volunteering, our whole cabin crew really loved getting to work with you on the center, like this past summer. It was awesome. We can't wait to work with you again on center.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ava, would you be willing to share your experience of the Sahavas and sort of your relationship with Baba?
Yes. Well, my parents have always believed in Baba as God. Like it wasn't like directly forced of like my religion sort of thing. It's just like Baba has been always there in my life, like for my entire life. And I never like my parents never really talked about him very much to me, like about like his like past life or anything like that. And then as soon as I got to U Sahavas, which my older sister previously went to like a long time ago. So when I came, it was like completely different when I talked to her about it. But when I came, I wasn't super nervous because I don't know, because I recently moved to Canton or North Carolina, and I've just like changed as like a different person. So I was really confident of like going into U Sahavas, but I was kind of like, how do I make friends? And as soon as I like met Izzy and everyone else in my cabin and just like everyone else, it just like bring me so much happiness. And I felt like I was in a completely different world. Like I felt home because in my house here, there's just like a lot of personal things that are going on, and I just don't feel like my like home in a type of way. But whenever I'm in U Sahavas, I feel like myself,
And I feel like I kind of embraced myself or like learned a little bit more about myself. Um, I just felt like I got into more depths of myself and other people, and also Baba as well, because I actually learned a lot about Baba, which like kind of like shook me. I was like, whoa, like hold it here. There's some new stuff that I didn't know about. Like take a stop, and it was just like super amazing. But as I was going to use Sahavas, we did this like performance thing around like the end of the week, and I did this presentation thing, and I made this "Don't worry, be happy" poster thing, and I hang it up into my wall just to remind myself of Sahavas. And it has like a lot of like deeper meaning to it. Like I did this like whole presentation. I can't remember exactly what I was talking about, but yeah.
That presentation was so beautiful. I remember when you shared it, because you were painting it all and working on it all week. I was Ava's counselor, and when you got up on stage and explained it, it had depth beyond what I could ever imagine. And I think there was like, you could hear a pin drop in the room with amazement at just what incredible things were coming out of your mouth. But well, thank you for sharing, guys. And I realized I forgot one last Sahavas Z. Peter Goodman.
Thank you, Mark Connor. Appreciate it. So, my first Sahavas as a camper was actually 1997. Can't believe like how fast time goes. It almost seems like it was yesterday, but then again, it seems of course like it was like forever ago. And I was about like 16, 17 in 97, and I did not live near any Baba teenagers my age. Of course, I knew a lot of older Baba adults, but it was just so nice to come to the center, which still like felt like a second home to me as a teenager. But then meet all these amazing teenagers, like most of who I met for my first time, and I just felt instant connections. It was just amazing. It was like family, and I just loved all the fellowship there. I loved all the music. I've always been playing guitar since I was 7 years old. So I loved all the Baba songs, the dances. I also loved all the freedom that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but anything you do want to do, you could try. Anything you didn't know, the staff and the workshop leaders would teach you. So it was just an amazing experience. I came home and like I was in like a blissed state for like a couple weeks afterwards, and yet I was also longing to go back to Usavas and back to Myrtle Beach. So, and I was lucky enough to go 4 years as a camper, and then a couple years after that, while still living in Pennsylvania as a workerwalla, which I loved being a workerwalla. Such a good variety of different tasks, and every year the workerwalla team is so close; they're like their own family within Savas. And since then, I had the honor to move to Myrtle Beach in 2006, March 1st, 2006 to be exact, and been living here ever since. And about 2 years ago, March of 2020, I actually got a job as a caretaker on center staff, and that's been such an honor, and I love it. And Margie, I would love to hear about your experiences as camper and staff as well. You can't get away so easily.
I was hoping that I could go under the radar. I actually much prefer being staff. So when I worked, so during my attending Usahavas years, I was a center staff worker. And so I had this like weird kind of paradigm where I felt like I was always friends with the older kids. And so I would always feel like I wanted to go hang out with the staff, and I didn't want to be a camper. And it was amazing. I had a great time. It was always so much, but it wasn't such a pinnacle in my relationship with Baba because I feel like that heart connection was there more from my trips to India and through working on the center. But this year, I didn't go to Usahavas for many years because I was just busy with life. And after about, I think it was 5 years, I came back as a counselor. And this was the most profound year of youth Sahavas. I remember looking around, and my cabin in particular, we had the best cabin, if I do say so myself. But I just looked at everyone and I thought on the last day, this is what the world could be like if everybody lived with love and the highest version of themselves all the time. Because it is just a playground of, it's like the Baba in everybody is so alive and thriving, and all of our, lower self, you could say, is completely, it's not there. I don't even know how to describe it. It's really not there. And it's this experience of bliss, and getting to watch all of you guys, meaning like the youth Sahavas. I thought I had such a strong relationship with Baba, and I was listening. I mean, I can think of experiences with all of you, Aaron, Dorian, Yashika, Ava, Izzy, that I was like, I better take notes from these guys, because they really, they really know what's up. But I mean, that's been my experience of the youth Sahavas. So we're going to call on Aaron, but any of you guys that want to ask the youth Sahavas questions, just if you start thinking about them, you can raise your hands, and then we'll call on you as soon as Aaron is done.
I have a quick question for Peter.
Yes.
Do you perhaps know my brother, Jonah Schaefer?
His name sounds familiar.
Because I believe he went the same year as you.
His name definitely sounds familiar. There were so many people.
Yeah.
Those were the big years, right?
Yeah.
But it would be interesting if you know.
Yeah. It looks like we have a couple of questions. Diane and Terry, you're on.
Hi. First of all, we are just so blown away by tonight. I only know what I know, what's in front of me in a way, and that is the people I know from the LA Center, and then the people on Baba Zoom. And let's face it, the people on Baba Zoom, we are an older group. And there's been lots of talk about the future of carrying on Baba's messages, and a lot of doomsayers on this. But then I come aboard here, and I am just totally blown away. What's that?
I never felt that.
Oh, Terry never felt that way. She was.
She's like, don't identify me with that.
I didn't feel like that either.
I'm not saying that I felt like it. I'm just saying that I heard a lot of people express concerns about it. But I guess my question to the people who have just shared so brilliantly tonight is, what's it like in your individual communities? I know what the cohesiveness is when you get together. I know that how incredibly passionate that connection can be and how it can carry you on. But how do you do Baba? Like, I love hearing the story about the person who talked about Baba and then all of a sudden had a new best friend who is now a Baba lover. That's incredible. So I would love to hear more of that. Jai Baba.
So do any of you guys want, because I'm going to call on somebody if nobody wants to go, but Yashika, you want to go?
Yeah, so I'm honestly very blessed to have the community that I do at my home and stuff, because obviously my whole family comes from a Meher Baba family. And there was also, it got stopped because of COVID, but this is where I first met Dorian. It was at a Baba birthday celebration. This was pre-COVID. And I did not know that anybody who lived near me was a Baba lover, especially my age. There's also a girl who was the same age as me. Her family was there too. And it was so cool. I think somebody else I met at Youth Sahavas, and apparently he was at that same birthday celebration. And it wasn't a huge thing. It was just where everybody, a few families got together at somebody's house, and we just talked about Baba and his birthday and just him in general. And there was a woman, she brought a lock of Baba's hair. I was so mind blown by that. It's like, how could you have Baba's hair? Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's how it is here. And I really want to get back with them, because these people are so wise and they already know so much about Baba, and I just want to learn more from them. Yeah, that's how it is at my community.
Does anybody else want to share before we go on to the next question? We're good? should we go on to who we got up next, Peter?
All right, up next we have an international guest. We have Joshua from Australia, the land down under. All right, Joshua.
Might not understand his accent. No, I'm kidding.
How's it going, Josh?
Oh, it's going good. No,
We barely understand yours, Margie. It's okay.
no. It's what I'm interested in hearing is what kind of things that you folks would like to see happen at the Sahavas? What kind of extra kind of stuff you think would be good? Maybe it's like perfect already, but like where, if you were given control, where would you take it going into the future? I'd love to hear from whoever feels comfortable.
What do you guys? That's a big question. I feel like the answer is always let's make it longer, but I'm going to call on somebody. Let's see. Well, Aaron, you're about to be a worker, so this responsibility is about to come on you. So what do you think?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. More people would be always great.
Like more
attendance, yeah, but that's not something you can always control.
So let me, if I can, Josh, I'm just going to rephrase your question. Because we tweak the use of Sahavas every year based on what the campers want. Like we have a lot of meetings as staff, and it's different every year based on the year before. And so what can you guys say about the use of Sahavas are the things that stand out as the best? That it's like, this is the stuff that you look forward to, not just the people, but the actual experience of the use of Sahavas.
Discussion groups. Barn, Dooney. Oh, I do actually have more dance parties. We need more dancing at night. Yep. Yeah. We need to get Kipper back to work, He took a year off. He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of.
Do any of you guys else have anything that really stands? Oh yeah, what's up, Ava?
I don't know. Yes, for sure, for like having it longer, for sure. But like last year, I feel like or like this summer, I feel like the schedule was like super chaotic. Like even though you were like free to do whatever you want to do, I feel like it was kind of like scattered, and it kind of overwhelmed me because like I was new and I was like, I want to experience everything, but it was kind of like chaotic. But that's like the only thing that I have complaint about. But like the one thing that I really do enjoy about like Sahavas is that you can like express yourself in any way you want. Like you can either go to like the art tent and like spend your entire day doing the art tent, or you can go to the beach and like play volleyball or play games or go swimming, or you could stay in your cabin and like have a conversation with one of your like people, or just like you can basically do whatever you want. And I honestly just like absolutely love that because you were just like free to do whatever. And yeah.
I feel like there should be more arties where at times where I can actually wake up. I struggle to get up at that. But I did go to all of the evening ones, and on the last day, I did not sleep because I really wanted to go to the morning one. So, but those were so beautiful. I love singing along. Like, I'm not the best singer. I think I know that. And it was but it was so nice singing along. All the songs are so catchy, and it's so beautiful, especially with the music walls. They have the best voices ever. And what I liked most was any time where I cried, basically, because I don't cry a lot. I don't. But anytime I cried, it was like happy tears, like Dooney. And then at the end, where everybody held hands and walked to Meher Abode, and then we said a prayer. And I think the music walls were also there. So that's what I really liked a lot.
So Yashika, many of these people who are logged on have never been to the Sahavas. So will you explain what the giant human link walk is?
Okay, so my brother, he went to the Sahavas too, but he never mentioned it to me. All he talked about was food, how amazing. food was. And I mean, it lived up to expectations. But so I first heard about the human link right before we were going to do it. I didn't hear about it before or anything like that. So they just said, hold hands and start walking out. And I did it. And it was complete silence. Nobody talked. If you ever looked at somebody, you just smiled or did like a silent little laugh, no talking. And we all walked from the meeting place to my abode, and it's not too long of a walk, but you sometimes you do feel like you're getting your arm pulled off though, because they stop sometimes. It's a whole thing, but it's so special. And then they all surround Baba's house, and then you just say a prayer with everybody, and then you go your separate ways. Like you can go into the meher, or you can sit outside and sing songs, or you can go back to your cabin and pack, whatever you need to do.
I think the human link is one of the most special times of Sahavas, because you can just feel, and a lot of times, at least in the years that I think it didn't really happen this year, but in the years that I went, you would do you can't talk, you're in silence the whole time. And so people would squeeze hands. And so it goes from one end all the way down to the other because you squeeze the next person's hand. Or there were some years that we would do like a kiss on the cheek. And so the person behind you kisses your cheek and it goes all the way to the front and then back down, or a kiss on the hand and something like that all the way.
I agree as well, Margie. Like, that's one of my favorite memories of Savas, and even in like my first year in '97, we used to do that. So I love how that tradition still is accepted and lives on within Youth Savas. The last day, that Sunday, it's a really beautiful experience with the human link.
Does anybody else want to go, or should we go on to the next question?
I could just add, but I kind of felt a little bit like Ava at the beginning, where it's just kind of like you're overloaded with everything and you're like, I gotta go do this, I gotta do this. And it's a little bit overwhelming at first, but I think it's kind of nice in the sense that we get a flexibility on what we want to do or what we don't want to do. And I just think everyone can kind of find their own balance of what they want to do and just what works for them. And I just think that's the most important thing, because like if you don't want to do everything, you don't have to. You just do what works for you. And I just think that's amazing. And it was just really nice because I especially enjoyed the discussion groups. Those were really amazing.
Do you have a favorite topic at a discussion group?
I'm not really sure. I did like the one on relationships. I think we went into depth a lot in that one. And so that was a really interesting one. But that's the one I remember the most.
All right, Peter, who we got up next? Oh.
All right, Margie. Up next, we have Rainey.
My question was for Ava, because I think Ava said her parents followed Baba. Is that right? Yeah, so I'd just like to put a proviso on my question, though. Us so-called olds, as our darling Aussie youth call us, the olds, may not come into our youth tent. I sort of got used to it because I'm so youthful. I had no idea I wasn't old, but alas, I wasn't old. But us olds, when we came to Baba, we had a youth Sahavas. But our youth Sahavas had people around us who were older than our own grandparents. And most of them, for God's sake, had met Mayor Baba. We just felt like such dummies and so overwhelmed, and were very quiet and religiously obeyed rules or took on jobs so we could be quiet and listen. So it's kind of interesting in a sense to hear about all these young ones finding each other. And essentially when we found each other, our youth Sahavas was India. And that's where we found each other, from every nationality and race and weird accent and so on. But anyway, just in sympathy of Ava's parents, I wanted to ask, so I'm into sequential education. I'm actually doing special education at this point myself, because my daughter's doing special education by Zoom. And I realize in special education, every single detail that's left out of our education, and certainly our education in Baba, we're expected to just pick it up. Whereas in special ed, every single detail is spelled out. Boy, did I miss a lot of hooks when I went to school. I have learned a lot in special education, coaching my daughter, a Down syndrome woman, Barbara Lover, and she's a lovely Barbara Lover, through Zoom. So I wondered, Ava, what were the little things that you noticed that were missing when you came to the Youth Sahavas from your family life in Baba with your Baba parents? Is there anything that leaps out?
Well, see, like my parents didn't like really fully evaluate like what happened in his life or like things like that. Like they did talk about his like wife and his kids and stuff like that, and but they didn't really like talked that much about him. Like I do have some like pictures of him. Like my stepdad is like a painter. He like there's like a painting portrait of him when he was younger, like I think in his 20s or something. I have another picture of him sitting down. I have some like other things of like his feet and stuff like that. But like my parents never really like talked about him that much. But then when I went into Youth Sahavas, I got into more depths of like what he did when he was younger, and like that he had so many homes and stuff like that, which I never knew that. Like I didn't know he had like a ton of houses everywhere in the world. Like other cool things, like especially in the discussion groups, there was like a lot of talking about that. There was like talking about Baba 101, and that really helped me a lot. I hope that I answered your question. I don't know if I fully answered it.
Oh, totally. This is exactly what I was saying, that there needs to be Mayor Baba special education. There's all these bits missing, these sequential bits, right?
So Ava, did I hear you say Mayor Baba's children and wife?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Baba didn't have children and he didn't have a wife.
It's something with my parents. It's kind of like a personal thing.
Well, I'd love to know what it is.
I don't know if some people will understand this. My mom says to not tell this about people because a lot of people will think like, what? But
yeah.
See, my actual name is not Ava. My actual name is Seisha, and that is God's infinite bliss, or it's like a whole meaning to it. I can't exactly remember what the whole thing. But my full name is Seisha Ava Mahera, so I have Mahera Baba in my name, singing Ber Yasser. And so my mom, like, I'm like God's infinite bliss. Like I don't know best way there, but like Seisha is like the one that's like there. I can't remember exactly the whole thing. But so my mom calls me God's wife a lot. And so he has his wife that is Mahera, and then he has his like, I think he has 3 kids. That's what my parents, or no, that's what I said when I was younger. It's like a whole connection with me when I was growing up. I had like all these like visions and stuff like that while growing up. So like he has 3 kids. I think he has like a daughter and 2 sons, like in his afterlife, like he's up there. So that's what I mean, that Baba has a wife and 3 kids, or like kids.
Well, I like Baba. So in Baba's life, Baba didn't have any kids, and then he had Mara, who was like his divine feminine. But I mean, Baba's unlimited. I think whatever our experience of Baba is internally is who Baba, whatever we can conceive of Baba is exactly who he is. So I love that you shared that, and that's part of your relationship with Baba. Thank you.
But I say Special Ed 101, there's so many bits missing. Even at my age, I heard of Baba in December in 67 from somebody so eccentric, so insane, so diffusive. And I have all that in my head that he thought Baba was. And then meeting Francis, who said nothing ever, like ever. no talk, no nothing. So you had to work it out, from a song or something. And then you get to India, and then there's all these Americans who talked about this wicked thing. What do you think she was in her last life? You were never, ever allowed to talk about anything to do with the last life. Would you agree with this, Joshua? Even in this generation, it's just this life, right? And so there's all these gaps, but then when you read Lord Mayor, there needs to be all these gaps because it's pretty weird stuff, right? I agree, Ava. It's some pretty weird stuff. Thank you very much, Ava.
Thank you, Rainey. All right, and now let's go to Peter S. in Florida. Good evening, Peter.
Oh, wow. Hi, everybody. My question is for Aaron. So I remember earlier Aaron said that he just listened, and I was wondering how he passed. Was that understandable?
Oh, wait, Peter, you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I did not hear that question.
All right, yeah, I'll just restate it then because my video, my phone's broken. This was for Aaron because before you said you listened, and I've been told listening is a great skill. How did you know to listen? I'll pass and just listen to your answer. No pressure.
So I'm dyslexic, first of all. So I've always learned through listening over reading and writing in school and things like that. So I've been called encyclopedia, I've been called Google. I just absorb information at an exuberant rate through listening. So that's pretty much why knowledge is very important to me, being educated in decision making and things like that, even on such a thing as spirituality is important to me, at least. And I listened because it was important and because it felt important to listen to what they were saying. And it was said by people who were important to me, even if I didn't really understand what they were saying or what they were talking about all the time. I knew that I listened to a lot. Most of you know Jeff Wolverton. I listened to a lot of his talks. I've listened to Bow's talks. I can't even think of all the people, but I've just listened to a lot of people over the years. My parents have brought me to Baba meetings and things like that, and I just sit and listen because I couldn't really contribute. So yeah, that's why I listened. Over.
Thank you, Aaron, and great question, Peter. All right, up next we have Marion from New York. Good evening, Marion.
Hi, I'm Marion, and very happy to be here and sharing this as I'm a very senior, and my wonderful senior center, we are devoted to intergenerational activities. So we really get to know many different age groups and share. So this is very precious for me. My thought, and today I watched a Zoom from the Ethical Culture Society, and there was a speaker, and he started when he was 14, creating a movement, and eventually it's established as a nonprofit about changing the financial structure in our world and making it more equitable. And he started that like at 14. And I was wondering if there's any of you, because you're young and you have the contrast of several worlds, like youth Sahavas, and then a world where there's sometimes bullying and all kinds of other things going on. Is there anything you're attracted to that is kind of that you feel where you'd like to put your energy in, grounding the roots for the new humanity to grow out of this time that sparks you, that you're drawn to? Most people aren't, a lot of them aren't Baba followers, but there's a lot of goodness going on. Is there anything you're attracted to to putting your energy linked up with. That's have a positive movement of change in our world.
So, does anybody, so I think just to kind of sum it up is like, basically like, where do you guys feel that you want to direct your energy in life? Like, do you feel like you already know what you want to do when you grow up, and kind of what does that look like, having so many different dimensions of, you know, Baba and love, and then also having to like go to college and do all those things? Do any of you guys want to share?
I think I would just want to put my energy towards like the future, as in technology and growth from there, but also the fact that there's so much, you know, hatred in the world, to show Baba's love and how you can still progress through technology and become smarter, you know, in your own capacity through love as well.
Thank you.
Ava, what's that?
I've been talking a lot. The thing that I want to put, like, what I'm kind of like hoping for like the future is that, in my opinion, I feel like I have a lot of wisdom because of like what I've gone through for my entire life. I understand a lot of things a lot of people don't think about. Like, a lot of people are like, I never thought of that before. It's like some people are just like never really thought about it, or how to help them like solve their, like, I don't know. It's just like I've done this since like the beginning of like 2020, and I've just got all of this like wisdom and stuff like that. But like how I wanted to like express that out to the world, like as a lot of people who are comedians or people who have like a deep down story about like how they lost their arm or how they're born different, and them showing that, projecting that out to the world. And I felt like I kind of visualize myself as that type of person, but through in a more unexpected way. Like, what I hope when I grow up or when I get enough money is to have like my own old theater, like Buster Moon from the movie Sing. Like, he has his own theater and like showing performances, but then also having times where people can express themselves with art or different creativity, or like dancing, or just like having speeches, or like anything like that. It's like what I visualize myself in the future doing. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Do any of you other guys want to go, or should we get the next question? Izzy, what you got?
I really feel that like just helping people figure out, like, obviously I want to figure out myself, but I think that just takes time, growing up and stuff. But helping people like figure out themselves, and I don't know, I just like try to really understand people, and it's really hard when people don't want to open up, but like find those people that want to open up and be vulnerable with you. And if they need some kind of help with like healing, like whether it's your like inner child, or I don't know, there's like all these other things. I like stuff like that.
Thanks, Izzy. All right, should we go on to the next one, Peter?
Sure, absolutely. All right, next question is from Rich.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, I think I was going to make a comment that's kind of related to what Izzy just said. But when you're, I think I'm kind of guessing at some of this because I feel so old now. But when you're young, your identity is kind of just coming up like the flower on the stem, you know, it's going to unfold and all that kind of stuff. In my experience, I mean, you have to do your best with that. I don't know how, I personally don't know how Baba helps young people to do that. but I am convinced that it is who you are is actually Mayor Baba, becoming Izzy, becoming Margie, Aaron and Dorian and Yashika and Ava and me and Bob and Tony, Marta. So it's really Baba doing all this. But the hard part is, how do you do that and be who you are? That's all I have to say.
So do any of you guys, have you guys ever kind of thought about that? Like, you know, the fact that you guys really are Baba, you know, and then if you have, has that ever, like, you know, what are your feelings around that thought, thinking that you guys really are Baba and you have all the answers? Has that ever occurred to any of you? Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. My mom always tells me Baba is always with you. You are always Baba. And the way that I guess express that is whenever something good happens to me, I'm not always like, oh, you did that, you're so smart. I always thank Baba first. That's like my first way of like expressing things, you know. And then second off, then I'm like, okay, Baba helped me do that hard work. Baba helped me do that, you know. It wasn't just me, it was both of us together because we are one.
Wow. I love that, Ashik. Thank you. Dorian, would you be willing to answer this question or sort of, you know, give your take on it? Because I feel like so many of the conversations that you and I had during Sahavas was about your internal relationship with Baba.
I'm not just off the top of my head, I'm not really sure, but I can kind of think of what Rich said, where kind of like we're all still like learning about ourselves and stuff. And sometimes it's kind of like I feel that way a lot. Like I don't know what I'm passionate about, or like sometimes I don't understand myself to a depth of what I would like to, if that makes sense. But I just always know like Baba has a plan, like and I just kind of feel that sense of security and just like knowing that he'll help me through all my problems and things like that. And so, and yeah, I also, my parents say the same thing as Yashika's parents, like Baba is within you, like God is within us, that kind of thing. And so I do know it's like also we like live and like we need to be kind to everyone else, and that's loving God. Does that make sense?
No, for sure. Thank you for sharing. I love that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Next up, we have Marta. Good evening, Marta.
Hi, Peter. Hello, everyone. Well, first, you guys, I want to thank you, because first I feel sad that I'm not young and can hang out with you guys, and I feel that the energy and the vitality and the passion and love and excitement you have, I haven't felt for a long time, and you've awakened that in me. And so I really appreciate that in you. And I kind of wish that there was like a youth and us Sahavas together, so we could hang out with you, or at least like go for a day and have discussion groups and listen to you guys and interact in person. I mean, that would be dynamic, because you're excited, and I want to have that juice, that youth, that juice, you know. I have a history of Baba, so that's Baba's grace. So my question to Yashika, Aaron, Dorian, Izzy, Margie, Peter, did I get everyone? All of you guys, okay? Did I get everyone? Huh?
Just
oh, Ava, yes.
Ava,
And
yep.
Ava. My question
And
is
Joshua too. He's a young one who went to Sahavas.
okay, Joshua, definitely you can get into anything you want. But Baba says that his name is more powerful than he is. And I'd like to know in your everyday life, and granted, some of you are new to Baba maybe, but not really, because you've had lifetimes with Baba. How do you remember Baba in your everyday life? And I'd really like a short answer from everyone, because I'm always interested in how people remember Baba in their lives. Yes, Dorian.
So I kind of always knew about this, but I kind of just gained this perspective from Sahavas. So one of the campers that I made friends with, I think her name Shireen, right? Yeah, she brought up an interesting thing where she said like whenever she remembers Baba, she always sees like the trees and the plants, and then she just sees Baba in all of that, and then that kind of stuck with me since Sahavas. And it's always like when I'm outside or like when I look at the trees and just nature in general, and I just kind of appreciate Baba in that. And that's one of the things that comes up in my daily life that I've noticed, and I'm grateful for that.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Izzy?
I remember Baba many ways, but my like easiest way for me, because I don't ever like forget, it's just like sometimes it's not on my mind. By setting alarms at 12 and 5 o'clock. Just like, and then I take like 4 seconds of like silence and just like appreciate him. And then I really see him in other people. I see that a lot. Like even people like it's so interesting. Like even people's like facial structure just like reminds me of him, and I'm like, oh my goodness. But yeah.
Thanks, Izzy. Rashika, how do you remember Baba?
I think I mentioned it a little bit before, but there's like mainly 2 ways how I remember Baba. It's the first one is like if I'm ever going through something like a hardship or something, like I think Dorian mentioned this, is always like Baba has a plan, you know, like you're going through it for a reason. He's not doing it just to make you suffer. It's either like a lesson or he wants it to stay with you for your whole lifetime. And then the second way is when anything good happens to me, which is what I mentioned before, I always think about Baba first because he's what made that happen. And Izzy just mentioned like the facial structures. Is it Joshua? Like Joshua, you look like Baba. Yeah, I see it.
That is the best compliment you could ever give somebody ever, Yashika.
Thanks, Lushika. Thank you. Okay, so then we have Ava. How about you?
How I remind myself with Baba is like as of course like my name, my middle name. But I also have like pictures of him, so it's like I like stop a minute and I just like gaze at his like beautiful face and structure and stuff like that. But then also I remember one time in Sahavas, Aaron was talking about how airplanes remind him of of Baba. It's like a whole long story, but every time I like hear a plane, I'm like, oh my God, Baba! I'm like, yes, Baba! Like I'm like always excited. But I don't know. And then like also just like my little like thing that I made as well reminds me of Baba. But then also
let's show that again. What is it?
It's my don't worry, be happy thing that I made at It's like a whole presentation thing I did. But then also Margie said like whenever she gets like mad or happy or something like that, you're like, oh, Baba, why are you so mad? Or like something like that. It just like also that like sometimes I'm like really like angry and I'm like, why, Baba? Like, why are you feeling this way? And it's like always reminds me of Baba as well.
You guys are amazing. Wow. Okay, Aaron, what do you got?
I have, well, there's airplanes, but that doesn't usually happen. I can tell that story if you guys want to, but there's this little thing, keychain. We all got it. Use how this is here, and it's my only thing about dorm, related to it. So, that's how I do it. Yeah.
You remember Baba by that locket? You mean the key thing?
Yep.
The picture of Baba.
Yeah, when I look at it,
Yeah.
It's pretty much.
Thank you.
Aaron, do you want to tell them about the gift that we get every year and some examples of it?
That was the thing that I just showed everybody at Sahavas got that. And there's a gift every year that all the participants get. It's been like a card like a little trading card thing, and I can't really remember what past years have been, but that was this year's.
I think this might have changed a little bit, but I know during my years, like when they
Oh, it hasn't been, but it has been a book sometimes.
Yeah.
And things like that.
We got a piece of the Peter, were you there? Were
Yeah.
you?
Oh, the one year we got a piece of the original bridge
Yeah.
from the center. One year we got a piece of the original cane from the original lagoon cabin
Yeah.
share.
I think I have.
It goes back to like history. It's always the last night of Youth Sahavas, which is typically that Saturday night before everyone like leaves Sunday later in like late morning Sunday. It goes back, I believe, to like one of the very first Usavases when in the mid '90s or whatnot, or early '90s when the Monsley were living. They used to send gifts from India, like Mani, I believe in particular, and I think maybe Erich, and they used to send gifts from India to the center and even write cards and whatnot to the to like Buzz and Linda to pass out to the campers and Usava staff. So it's a beautiful tradition, and everybody takes darshan at the barn and bows down to Baba's chair and gets their gift, whatever it is that year. And it's a very sweet and a very emotional highlight usually every year for the barn nights.
This was the example of the gift that we got. So this was the original cane fragment from the lagoon cabin chair used by Baba when he came to the center. So this is just an example of one of the gifts that we got.
One gift, I think that was my first year as a camper, and this photograph it's in Papa's room in Myrtle Beach. He like I guess touched all these cards, and I guess this was one of the years that the Monsley sent. And it's one of my beautiful Baba treasures.
That's beautiful.
Thank
I have to have Baba lookalike Joshua give his answer, and then we'll be done, I think. Baba lookalike Josh, what do you have to say?
I do a lot of journaling, and the focus of my journaling is often just talking to Baba about like boring things, like about whether to get groceries or not. But then every now and then I'll sort of like do a little bit of like sort of meditation style where I'm just like writing his name or often making an artwork out of his name. And I find that that's a really helpful way to do it. To remember.
Thanks you guys. That was fantastic. Thank you.
So just in interest of getting these kids to bed because they have school in the morning. So we'll take Tony and Rainey, and then you guys, Sahavas, if you guys think of any questions that you want to ask them, as soon as they ask their question, we'll let you guys have a chance, and then we'll close for the night.
Hey, Margie, didn't you say you were gonna like write some excuse notes so they could get like come in late or get out of school?
Yes,
that's what you originally said. I'm just kidding. All right, Tony, you're up.
Hi, Jay Baba. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not usually tongue-tied, but I'm just leaving it to Baba what comes out because there's a lot coming up from what you're saying. First, I'm so thrilled to meet all of you, and I'm really enjoying your sharings, and everything you say I've experienced kind of. So it's like none of it's new to me, and yet it's totally new. A phrase that came to mind, I don't know to ask you a question because whatever you say is perfect for me. And I wouldn't know what to tell you because you know all this. One thing that came to mind is that we discover love fresh every moment. And then another thing that came was someone very close to Baba when I was 17 said, we always make the mistake in thinking of life and thinking of things in terms of a single lifetime. And I had my own experience of that where I was telling people about Baba every time. And my mother says, if he was that, why should you know? And she said, why wouldn't the Pope know? I knew why the Pope wouldn't know. But Baba gave me a dream that was made clear that I had met Baba, that I had met him in the 20s in Quetta and so on. And it was like, okay, I recognized him. You all recognized him. I have no doubt that you were with Baba. And even beyond that, some have talked about our generation. It sounds weird saying that, met the Mandali and all this. But at least some of you, I think, were probably part of our generation who came to Baba the way we did. And maybe you died early or whatever it was, and immediately you come back and you're coming to Baba, completely recognizing him and discovering love again in the moment, which is what any of us are doing even after all these years with Baba. So I just want to thank you, because it's such a thrill to hear. And on a certain level, I'm still 17, so I'm really with you on this. I've attended the Sahavas through you now. So thank you. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you, Tony. All right, let's go to Rainey again.
Hi. So I'm my daughter's Erich. My daughter is verbally impaired. She's a Baba lover. She's been a Baba lover for 42 years, so I suppose she's not a youth anymore. This is Franny Etta Francis, and she's a Baba lover. And when she got this cookie, in fact, she said Baba's heart. And I had to translate that because it came out Baba's heart. So Franny, at her youth Sahavas, when we take her to India every year, she worked out very quickly that if she didn't take a present of Baba's locket or Baba's button to Marizad, she'd get another one. This is something took me a while to work out. I learnt from her in special ed, so to say. So consequently, we have boxes and boxes of buttons and pendants and lockets and brooches from the Mandali that Franny got year after year going to India. So one thing I would like to say is, when you go to a meeting and there's an impaired, speech impaired, blind or developmentally delayed Baba lover there, it's okay to go up and say, Jai Baba, how are you? Mostly they'll just go, Jai Baba, good thanks, and engage with them, because they do get isolated, unfortunately, even in the Baba world. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thanks for saying that. So Peter and I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions that you have for the older generation. And if you don't have any, that's totally okay. But these guys have all had many, many, many years with the beloved under their belts. And so if there are questions that you guys can think of, now would be the time to ask. Even if it's like, what was Mani like? Or what was Erich like? Or who is Erich? Or how,
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask any question. No question's a bad question. So feel free to ask. Yashika, did you have a question?
Yeah. I was just wondering if any of you guys are gonna come to the future youth Sahavas and just share any of your experiences or any of your wisdom that you have on Baba.
You mean like as a guest?
Yeah.
Oh. I think that's I think maybe we could ask this question. Who would want to? That would be, see how many hands we get. If that's something that, like, your heart would love to be a part of, to share your relationship with Baba, just raise your hand and we'll all kind of send energy in that way. Oh.
I want to come and interact, but I don't know if I want to come as put on to talk about Baba, but I want to come and interact with you guys in a discussion back and forth. That's what I'd love to do. So I'll put that vote there. Bob has something, Peter.
Okay, yes, Bob.
Yeah, I kind of taking off on what Marta said. One of my favorite Baba quotes is on my wall. I see it every day. Gatherings and meetings in my name should be a channel for the expression of my love. And to give them any other importance is to misunderstand my cause. you do that at Youth Sahavas. And I would love to come and just hang out in a natural way and share Baba's love, and let the differences of age just go away. So that would be lovely. And thank you all so much for sharing. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you, Baba.
I think we should probably close it up. Peter, what do you think about that?
I agree. An organic thing just came to mind. Let's all get off mute, whoever would like to, and let's try the beloved God prayer together.
Oh my God, you took the words out of my mouth. Wow.
Oh my God, we're on the same wavelength. Okay, love this. All right.
All right. Ready? You lead it, Peter.
I'll lead it, and then after that, maybe like a moment of silence, and then 3 Avatar Mary Baba Ki Jays. How about that? Ready? Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more and more till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold on to Baba's mind until the very end.
Beloved.
Avatar
Meher Baba
Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Jai.
Thank you so much to Izzy, Ava, Aaron, Yashika, Dorian, Joshua, Peter. We're so happy you guys came on, really. This is an honor.
It truly was. Yeah. Thank you, Margie. And thank you everyone for sharing and listening. And a little teaser for next week. Margie will definitely send out an email a couple days before Sunday, but it's going to be a special one about pilgrimages to India or the Meher Center in Myrtle Beach or Australia or Ojai in California, or really any Baba place or any spiritual place that's special to you and your heart.
This isn't so just so you guys know, Izzy, right, our guest Izzy is about to head off to Mehrabad the day after the day after our meeting next week on pilgrimage. So I want her to be able to bring all of your guys' stories of pilgrimage to India with her.
Wow.
Yeah, so definitely think of any favorite stories of like traveling to India or pilgrimages that you've taken over the years, and definitely share a story that you like or an
Great
experience.
topic. Really good topic. Yeah.
Or even
Hey Peter, if Franny's no longer a youth, Peter.
Yes,
Franny. Franny and Peter met each other when they were 7 in India.
That's true. I have not seen Franny since that India trip. Yes, that's right.
Peter's hanging on to the youth title.
Yeah, okay, I'm hanging on. My dentist told my best friend I have really good teeth because I'm so youthful. She didn't speak to me for at least 2 weeks. But anyway, I'm hanging on to that.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Jai Baba.
Thank you, youth. That was divine. Thank you. Love you all.
Love you all.
Paula, did you have something that you wanted to say?
All right, thanks, y'all.
I did. I wanted to know, where does this email go to?
So it's on the late night chat group. I think Jashima is the one who is in charge of that, and